I want to give you one guaranteed way for you to actually pull off your resolutions. Here's the one way you can guarantee to never be disappointed again. This will work every single time. Just don't make any. It is the new year. As I'm recording this right now, it's January 2nd, and we love the idea of New Year resolutions, and yet we make them and we get excited about them, and people go to different levels of preparation. You sign up for a membership, you detail your action steps, you get accountability around you, but typically 13 and a half days later, what was this really exciting resolution is now the butt of the jokes you're telling about how you're not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to drink water this year, no more sodas. And like 13 and a half days in, you're just hooked up to a Diet Coke IV, right? I'm not going to smoke anymore. And then you cold turkey for 14 days. And then it's just like 4 packs of Marlboro Reds, and you are ready to go. We make them and we break them. And then sometime mid-December the next year, we're like, this is the year. This is the year. And so I want to give you one guaranteed way for you to actually pull off your resolutions. Here's the one way you can guarantee to never be disappointed again. This will work every single time. Just don't make any. Awesome. This has been the Clayton Tyner podcast. No. That is one way to ensure you'll never be disappointed and your resolutions will all come to pass because you just won't have any. And for most of us, it would actually be better for our mental health because we're not going to do our resolutions anyway. I want to go to a deeper underlying issue that really will set you up for success. And here's the broader picture of how resolutions work. There are people who are stuck. They're just living the same nightmare all the time. They have no traction. They have no momentum in life. They can't really paint a picture for their ultimate future goals. They're just in survival mode day by day, and they make resolutions and they break those resolutions almost immediately. And then there are people, and you know some of these people, who just always seem to have a sense of momentum. And to them, New Year's resolutions aren't revolutionary. They're not like changing everything in one big fell swoop. It's not like I'm going from 0 to 100. It just seems like almost every year, sometimes even every quarter, they're just incrementally adding things to their life, setting goals and accomplishing those goals that make them a little bit more productive and a little bit more present and a little bit better with their kids and a little bit more financially stable. And over the years, these just accumulate into this really successful life. And these people kind of feel like unicorns, like one of them, or maybe if you have a broad social circle, like 3 of them, and everybody else is just kind of making them and breaking them. We're going to look at one verse. It's in Proverbs, which is the book of wisdom written by King Solomon, the wisest man to ever live. In Proverbs 25, it says, the purposes of a person's heart are deep, deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. And I think this really gets to the heart of why we have such a hard time keeping our resolution. As the lead pastor of MetaChurch, I say this all the time. It's really core to who we are as a faith community. We start anthropologically with a belief that every person was created on purpose, which just means that it's no accident that you're here on earth. You were created on purpose and you were created with purpose, which means there is a purpose inside of you that God placed there. The God who created you also gave you something to do while you were here on earth. And most of us spend our life so distracted by all of the shiny little offerings to be hotter or more successful or more popular on Instagram or whatever, so distracted by our addictions, by our anger and confusion, by our lust, so distracted that we never even consider our God-given purposes, and instead we live for the purposes that the culture or the society or our friend group or our parents set in front of us. Like, you just need to be really, really wealthy, and then you'll just be happy and satisfied if you just have more money, because there's never been any millionaires who have killed themselves because they're just absolutely so miserable, right? Well, of course there have, because money isn't the key to happiness, So what do we do in order to make our resolutions stick? Here's something I I taught on a couple of years ago that really, really has been instrumental in how I view the world and how I view my purpose. New Year resolutions are often an attempt to change the direction of your life. Like, I'm not very happy with the direction my relationships or my finances or my physical health or my career is going. So I'm going to put these resolutions in place to try and shift direction. New Year resolutions are often an attempt to change the direction of your life. However, if you do not know your destination, the directions don't ultimately matter. This is pretty basic, but if someone asked you for directions, the first thing you would ask them is, where are you going? If you don't know their destination, you don't know how to give them directions. If someone said, hey, could you give me directions? And you said, where are you going? And they said, I don't know. You would not be able to help them. And the problem with our resolutions is we're looking for direction or directional shifts, but we haven't yet established a destination. Direction is short-term thinking. Destination is long-term thinking. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters. Understanding your full life purpose and all that God has given you to do and who he has called you to be, those are deep waters. I mean, that genuinely is the adventure of a lifetime. Like submerging yourself in those waters and figuring all of that out. It's the wise person, one who has insight, who can draw these things out. And someone who has insight has a destination in sight. Now, is that cheesy? Yeah, that was cheesy.
Wow.
But it's accurate. They have a destination in sight. And I think for you to not just make a New Year resolution that falls flat and is really disappointing and just adds to the graveyard of 40 other New Years come and gone where none of your resolutions stuck, instead of looking for these minor directional changes, 2024 could be the year that you start really trying to question what your destination is. And what that means is zooming out and getting a broader picture for your life. And there's a few ways that you can do this. Number one is by genuinely getting to know yourself better. I believe in the power of your personal story. We're all living out a story. And one of our key classes at MetaChurch, we call it Meta Story. And this is looking across your life and putting it on Freytag's pyramid, which is how every story, every narrative, every novel, every movie works. It all follows the same pattern of story and understanding who you are at a deep level. Why are you stuck? Why are you in the same patterns? What pain are you trying to numb or ignore from your past that's now in the driver's seat of your present and affecting you in the future? Another way to do this is to get closer to God. If you want to understand the purpose that you were created with, then you have to get to know the one who created you and instilled that purpose inside of you. If you do nothing else in 2024 other than invest time in scripture and get in a faith community, you're going to be so much further along by 2025 than if every one of your New Year resolutions went perfectly. If you can get a bigger picture for your life and you can get a sense of destination in front of you, you can begin to line directions up to it. If you don't have a sense of destination, then even if some of your directional changes are successful, ultimately they will not feel fulfilling because they're not connected to something that is bigger than you. And here's what Jesus offers us. Jesus offers us a transcendent destination. You see, in Christianity, everything ends up in eternity. And our transition point to eternity is standing at the judgment seat of Christ and being rewarded for how we used the life that we were given. And our job, our broadest sense of created purpose, is to join with Jesus in the rescue and redemption of a world who does not know him and is living without hope. And so the call to be a Christian is not just to escape hell and go to church on Sundays. The call to be a Christian is to follow Jesus and to organize your entire existence around something that is transcendent, the ultimate destination. And if you know the ultimate destination, then the direction for your life will take care of itself. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure you check out the full podcast and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all new content. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/Clayton Tyner. Link is in the description below.